This video is provided as supplementary material for courses taught at Howard Community College. And in this video, I want to talk about the difference quotient. What I'm going to do is start out with some of the theory, and then we'll go on to a specific problem. Okay, so here's the theory. Let's say we've got some simple graph. It's just a curve. We're going to say that this curve is from the function f of x. And we'll take some point on this curve and label the point. I'm just going to say that the x-coordinate of the point is x. And for the y-coordinate, well, the function is f of x. Instead of thinking of y, I'll just call the y-coordinate f of x. Okay, so this point here is at x comma f of x. Now let's say I want to know what the slope at that point is. It's going to be kind of difficult because the slope is constantly changing on this graph. But if I wanted to find the slope, I might try using the slope formula. Remember, the slope formula is m for slope equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So the slope formula requires that we have two pairs of coordinates, two ordered pairs. I've got this first one. Let's pick another point on the graph. I'm going to go over to here. And I'm going to say that this point, the horizontal coordinate for this, is something I'm going to call x plus h. In other words, I'm saying that the horizontal difference between these 2 points, that distance is h. Okay, so the coordinates for this point are going to be x plus h, that would be the x part of it, the horizontal part, and for the vertical part, for the y part of it, it would be f of x plus h. Okay, pause the video for a second if you need to think this over a little bit. Okay, so now I've got 2 points. If I connected those 2 points, I'd know the slope. I know the points are kind of far apart, but just bear with me. So we can use the slope formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, and find the slope. So y sub 2 is going to be f of x plus h, and y sub 1 is just f of x. So it's going to be f of x plus h minus f of x. And then I want the x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Well, x sub 2 is x plus h. X sub 1 is just x. So what I've got here is the difference quotient. F of x plus h minus f of x over x plus h minus x. It's just a fancy version of the slope formula that you already know. Now, here's the point. When I chose these 2 points, I made them kind of far apart so we could see what we were doing. But this distance between the 2 points, h, is just some arbitrary unit that I chose. What if we made the difference, what if we made h really small? What if the 2 points were so close together that instead of being way over here, the second point was more or less right next to the first one? In other words, h becomes a really small number. Well, if the points are really close together, that would give me a fairly accurate understanding of what the slope is at that point. Okay? So that's where this difference quotient comes in. We're going to use the difference quotient to find the slope at that point. Okay, now for a real problem to see how it works. So here's a function, f of x equals 3x squared plus 4x minus 5. Let's write the difference quotient, f of x minus h, x plus h minus f of x over x plus h minus x. And now we'll just plug in the values for x plus h and x. Okay, so for f of x plus h, we're going to take that function and put x plus h in wherever we have an x. So we're going to have 3 times x plus h squared plus 4 times x plus h minus 5. And then I want to subtract f of x, so minus, I'll put all of f of x in parentheses, 3x squared plus 4x minus 5. And I still need the denominator. The denominator is x plus h minus x. Okay, so let's work with this. I'm going to square that x plus h, since it was x plus h squared. So that's going to be 3 times x plus h squared is x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Now distribute this 4 for the 4 times x plus h. So that's plus 4x plus 4h minus 5. And now I've just got to distribute this negative sign. Minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 5. And the denominator, I can simplify that whole denominator, x plus h minus x, is just h. Okay, let's distribute this 3. So I'm going to have 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared plus 4x, I'm just going to copy everything else, plus 4h minus 5 minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 5, and all of that is over h. Okay, now we get to simplify everything. I've got a 3x squared and a minus 3x squared, so they will cancel out. I've got a 4x and a negative 4x, so they cancel out. I've got a negative 5 and a positive 5, so they cancel out. And now my numerator is just 6xh plus 3h squared plus 4h. Notice that everything in the numerator has an h in it, and I've got an h in the denominator. So I can cancel out the h's. I'm going to have 6h plus 6x plus 3h plus 4. So let's write that. 6x plus 3h plus 4. Okay, so this is what we get when we apply the difference quotient. Now, here's the interesting thing. Remember we said h was going to become very, very small. If it becomes incredibly small, we don't have to worry about it. So we can just cross it out, and what we're going to have is 6x plus 4. What the 6x plus 4 tells us is that for any point on the original function, any point that we'll call x, the slope at that point is going to be 6x plus 4. Notice it's 6x plus 4. If we said y equals 6x plus 4, it would just be a standard linear equation, a slope, a straight line. Okay? So the slope at any point on the function that we started out with is 6x plus 4. Okay? So the hard thing about the difference quotient is just going through all the steps without making any mistakes. You're going to kind of know if you made any mistakes if you can't simplify it down fairly nicely when you get to the end. Okay? So just give it plenty of practice so you're comfortable with it, and you should be fine. That's about it. Take care. I'll see you next time.